Hello and welcome to the Responsive Family Sleep Podcast. I'm your host, Kim Hawley, holistic sleep coach, lactation consultant, peaceful parenting educator, and mom. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by all the conflicting sleep info, frustrated with sleep information that just plain felt wrong, or searched desperately for a truly gentle and responsive sleep approach, then you are in the right place. In each episode, we'll be answering your most pressing baby and toddler sleep questions, busting those sleep myths, and helping you understand truly developmental, biologically normal baby and toddler sleep, plus encouraging you to trust your intuition along the way. Let's get started. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. This week we are talking about toddlers and quiet time and that whole dropping of the nap process. So I've been talking a lot about this with a recent client of mine, and it got me thinking about it because I'll be honest, quiet time is one of those things that never worked for my kids ever, or at least not independent client time, quiet time. And so it got me thinking about the ways that we think about quiet time for toddlers, the dropping of the nap, how we sort of position it, and the role that we see in it, and how sometimes that's not realistic. So what happens? What is quiet time if you're not familiar? Quiet time is this idea that as a toddler drops their nap entirely, we set up a rest time, right? A quiet time, generally at their nap time where they're resting. They are ideally laying down, and then if they need to sleep, they sleep. They don't, they rest. But also it can be a quiet playtime, right? In their room where they're doing quieter activities. Some parents think of this as independent playtime, so a bit of a break, right? It can be really hard when they drop the nap, especially if you had a toddler who napped independently and all of a sudden it's gone. Your break is gone. And I find a lot of parents cling to the nap because they don't want to have no break, right? And so it can be independent playtime. And frankly, sometimes if we want a quiet time, it needs to be parent present because it's not going to happen otherwise. And so we kind of think of these different roles here. And sometimes we kind of all bundle it up to the same thing. And it's like, what are the different things that we're trying to do with this time? Is it that we actually want our child laying down because if we can get them to slow down, they might actually still nap and they do better with that? Is it that they need some downtime to cope with the rest of the day? Is it that we need a break and that's actually the biggest priority and we want them to be in their room independently for a period of time? And so it doesn't matter to us if they are playing quietly or if they're resting. Is that time for ourselves? And what happens when none of that works? Right? Because that is factual. Like sometimes it doesn't work. And so these are slightly different things. And you might have your own motivations. And also your child's temperament is going to have a big impact here. Some toddlers play independently much better than others. Some toddlers have much more trouble like slowing down and resting. And so what's your biggest goal? And what do you think is going to be the best fit for your kiddo? So we can do a couple things, right? We can try to establish the routine of hanging on to a quiet time. If you have other kiddos or we're thinking about the weekends and both parents are home, maybe it can be helpful for toddlers to be like the whole house is having quiet time. This is rest time for our family. A lot of toddlers really like that feeling of belonging and sameness, like everyone's resting, and it reduces FOMO, right? Like a lot of toddlers are like, no, what are mommy and daddy doing while I am resting? I can't miss out. Like absolutely not, right? What are you doing? That is crazy time. So we want to make sure that they don't think that something exciting is happening because that's going to make it harder for them to have downtime. Another thing is making sure that there aren't a bunch of high exciting toys in their space that they're resting. Maybe we give them a few quieter toys. Now, all toys can be made hyper, let's be honest, but there are sometimes toys that are always going to be higher energy play. They're more stimulating, and sometimes toys that are quieter. Fundamentally, I think we need to ask ourselves, is my child capable of sustained independent play? And if they're not, then maybe that's something we need to build up more gradually with support to get there, right? So it's not a total lost cause, but maybe we need to ask them to play independently for short times and scaffold and give them that connection on either side. Now, getting a child to stay in their bed and rest, that can be hard. And so maybe we need some audiobooks or kid stories, right, to listen to if you have a child that would like to listen to that, or some kid meditations, right? Maybe you need to lay in there with them and you get snuggle time. Maybe you need to be in there with them and read to them to help them slow down and rest their body. So if the answer is rest, and that you feel like they really still need that rest, not just quiet or play, then again, this circles back to temperament, that some kiddos really need that support to downregulate, and others you could kind of get them started, put on maybe some music or put on the audio that you want them to listen to and step out. Hey, I'm going to go check on your sibling, right? Or I'm going to go empty the dishwasher. I'll be right back to check on you. And it really depends on where your child is at with that sort of stepping away, right? Are they going to come chasing after you, or are they going to stay there until you return? And if all else fails, it could be that we reimagine this and we go, okay, what about we all just kind of have a snuggle time on the couch, and maybe you read them a book on the couch and we're in the main living area, and we can just say, we're going to take some downtime, and you're there so you can still attend to other things. So sometimes we have this idea that kiddos are going to be like, yes, mommy, I love the idea of quiet time in my room on my own, and you can have a break. And, I get why we want to sort of imagine that that's possible, but it's not for a lot of kiddos. Like I said, I totally failed at this with my kiddos. There was no independent quiet time for either of them. It did not match their temperament. At best, we got co-quiet time, right? Where we would snuggle and kind of hang together with them not sleeping, but resting for a period of time, or plop them in a walk and let them kind of coast in baby carrier on my back or in a stroller, and let them just have that co-regulation and less activity. And to be honest, I also didn't work very hard on it. So if I was my own sleep coach, right, this was important to me, I might say, okay, how can we start building out some independent time gradually within there and expanding it? So I find that quiet time can be a useful tool, and sometimes it can just create more frustration than it's worth, if we're having a really narrow view of what quiet time should look like, versus just thinking about how do we get a little downtime or a little independent time. How can we maybe start scaffolding towards that, rather than expecting it to be a smooth transition from nap to fully independent quiet time? So I hope that gave you some things to think about. I would never claim to be a quiet time expert. Many things in sleep, I would say that I am very confident saying I am an expert on quiet time. It's definitely not one of them. But I think it's a really great thing to think about, where's your kiddo at? What are your true goals? And how can we scaffold to get there? Are there things that you can work on to help create a quiet time that fits closer to what you want it to be than where it is now? And honestly, I don't think we think about that a lot. I think we just think it's going to work or it's not going to work, and not that it's something that we can gradually scaffold to being more helpful in the way that we think it should be for our family. So I hope that gives you some food for thought. I'd love to hear what works for you with quiet time. If you want to reach out on Instagram or send me an email from my website, I think it would be fun to hear what works for your toddler in quiet time, or what maybe was a huge bust for yours in quiet time. I said it was a big bust with my kids. I'd love to hear your stories either way. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this episode left you feeling more informed, confident, and encouraged on your sleep journey. And just a reminder before you go that nothing in this episode is individualized to your specific sleep situation, nor is it to be taken as medical advice. Take what resonates, ignore what doesn't, and check with your healthcare provider about any medical concerns. Take a moment to subscribe to this podcast so that you'll never miss an episode. And take a moment to rate, review, or share an episode you love on social media. All of that helps parents just like you find me, this podcast, and this gentle and responsive sleep information. I'll see you next time.